Good evening and welcome to Fox 43 News at 10.
I'm Lado Sella.
I'm Mason Hine, and tonight's top story.
After an excellent year of stealing the show from greats like Sandra Bullock, entertaining millions of Super Bowl fans in a Snickers commercial, and receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild, Betty White has now agreed to host Saturday Night Live. After a Facebook group started by Texas native David Matthews called Betty White to host SNL, please, just 2 months ago, caused an explosion of support for Betty White to host the popular sketch comedy show. White will host SNL's Mother's Day special and will be joined by former guest members such as Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, Molly Shannon, and Anna Gasteyer. White will be able to keep up with her cast members. According to Gasteyer, she has impeccable comic timing, and she also has a keen nose for contemporary comedy. The SNL episode will air on the eve of Mother's Day, May 8th on Fox at 10 o'clock p.m.
Laura Bush is suggesting she, her husband, and several aides were poisoned during a 2007 visit to Germany for the G8 summit, one of several new details in the former First Lady's forthcoming memoir, Spoken from Her Heart. Due to hit bookshelves, May 4th, but purchased by CNN at a Washington area bookstore. Mrs. Bush says she and former President George W. Bush became mysteriously sick on the Germany trip to such a degree that the president became bedridden. According to Mrs. Bush, doctors and the Secret Service investigated the possibility a poisoning had occurred but were unable to make a definitive conclusion.
In sports news, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger was issued a 6-game suspension by the NFL for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Roethlisberger states that he committed no crime but will not be appealing the suspension because he is accountable for the consequences of his actions. Ben released a statement saying, "I regret that I have fallen short of values instilled in me by my family. I am disappointed that I have reached this point and will not put myself in this situation again. I appreciate the opportunities that I have been given in my life and will make the necessary improvements." Along with the suspension, Ben will also have to undergo a comprehensive behavior evaluation. Since he will not be paid for the games he will be missing, Ben could lose $3 million for missing all 6 games.
Coffee. Is it healthier than you think? More than half of the adults in the U.S., or 54%, are habitual coffee drinkers according to the National Coffee Association. In fact, 146 billion cups are consumed in the U.S. each year, which is nearly 3 times more than tea. But for years, coffee had a bad reputation. Linked in many people's minds with smoking, coffee is associated with overcaffeination and insomnia. The caffeine found in coffee can stay in your system for up to 12 hours, making it more difficult to fall asleep, and it affects your quality of sleep as well. Caffeine is also a diuretic, meaning that it increases urine output, which can lead to dehydration. The general consensus used to be that tea was the better bet in terms of health benefits, but recent research suggests that despite the downsides of coffee, the devil's brew does have an upside. Coffee drinkers may be at a lower risk of liver and colon cancer, type 2 diabetes, and even Parkinson's disease.
In Rider news, for all you college students, it's that dreaded time of year, the tuition increase statements. Rider students will face a 4.9% tuition increase, which is more than double the rate of inflation for the United States over the last 12 months, which is 2.3%. Rider will increase its scholarships and need-based aid next year to $1.5 million. The Rider administration says, although the increase may be a high percent, many students will find the rates manageable.
Hi, I'm Greer Murphy, and I'm reporting to you from the BLC where Lip Sync is currently taking place. Lip Sync is one of the most exciting events during Greek Week. Greek Week is an entire week dedicated to the Greeks where they can compete with each other in friendly competition. During Lip Sync, each chapter is expected to compete against each other with different themes and performances, and they're expected to lip sync the songs. Now, we'll talk to Caroline Downing, an exciting participant of Lip Sync.
Week was a great way to show chapter unity and Greek pride. I know my chapter personally wanted to go to every single event, most of us at least, those of us who didn't have night class, to support our chapter and the other Greek houses. Our lip sync theme has been planned for quite a while, and especially the night before lip sync, we were practicing really hard. The week leading up to it, we all made sure we had fun costumes and that we knew our dance moves.
Thank you, Caroline. We wish each chapter the best of luck.
In the popular television series Sex and the City, brunch was often the war room in which the saucy foursome would debrief about their exploits on the battleground of New York's dating scene. Starting at least a century before the show's 1998 television debut, that leisurely, often boozy, midday meal has frequently become associated with well-heeled urbanites, making much ado about eggs Benedict, bellinis, and stuffed French toast. Now, Burger King wants to bring brunch to the local drive-thru. The fast food chain is testing brunch fare in Massachusetts and Florida, and depending on its success there, it may be rolled out nationally. The menu is set to feature a breakfast sandwich of eggs, cheese, tomato, ham, bacon, and smoky tomato sauce served on ciabatta bread, Whoppers, which are usually not available in the morning, and the BK Mimosa, a non-alcoholic version of the classic cocktail with Sprite, standing for the traditional champagne. This represents a bold renovation of Burger King's breakfast menu, which competes aggressively with McDonald's.
In entertainment news, for all you Sandra Bullock fans that were devastated at the recent news of her husband Jesse's affair, there seems to be a brighter side helping Sandra cope just fine. In the newest issue of People magazine, Sandra announced that she's filing divorce from Jesse, and she is sad and scared. The person that is helping her through the rough patch is her 3.5-month-old adopted son, Louis, who she and Jesse adopted from New Orleans. Sandra said, quote, "One day it was just a feeling that came. Instead of bringing another life into this world, we wanted to reach out and find our child in New Orleans. There are so many children alone after Katrina, and for some reason we knew that someone would want to come into our lives." Sandra also says she kept the adoption a secret from everyone outside of her inner circle until the adoption was finalized to avoid media attention.
In recent sports news, sources say Dwight Howard can antagonize officials enough to draw a penalty. The Orlando Magic Center was fined $35,000 by the NBA on Wednesday for criticizing officials on his blog, the second time this season he's been penalized for posting such comments.
The hilarious late-night host Chelsea Handler of Chelsea Lately is being accused by Radar Online for having a sex tape featuring a nude Handler handling an unnamed male partner with a British accent. Handler's rep says the tape Radar Online has is an old tape that was done for a stand-up comedy bit when Chelsea was 22 years old. Radar Online confirmed that Handler did indeed send the tape with the XXX clip in which her bare breasts are visible to agents 10 years ago. Handler addressed the video on her show, joking that the tape was supposed to be a surprise gift to her staff. She went on to say, "It was made as a joke. I put it on an audition tape for a comedy club because I'm a comedian, and I've been showing it at birthday parties for years." It's quite the scandal, Chelsea.
Here in a neighborhood just like the one you and I live in, a tragedy has turned a safe residential area upside down into a frenzy, leading to 2 school lockdowns. There was a manhunt today in Hamilton for suspect Ralph Johnson, 60 years old, from Hamilton. The incident ended fatally in Ewing Cemetery, where the man committed suicide when he saw police approach him. The man was a suspect in a fatal shooting earlier this morning at 5 a.m. It took place outside their home, leaving for work in their vehicle. Lawfield Nicholson and his wife Joanne Nicholson were both shot. Joanne shares custody of her daughter with Johnson. This is where the problem could have originated from, police believe. After Johnson was found, he was rushed to the hospital, where Capitol Health Regional Trauma Center, where he was later pronounced dead. Nicholson was pronounced dead shortly after arriving to the hospital. His wife's family says she is expected to make a full recovery. Your heart really has to go out to his daughter. It is a terrible loss.
And that's our news for tonight.
I'm Mason Hine,
And I'm Lada Vasella.
signing off.